My brother stole everything from me, so I made sure he went bankrupt. My brother and I were best friends growing up. We were inseparable, always coming up with plans for the future and dreaming about building something great together as kids. We would spend hours sketching out ideas for businesses, convinced that one day we would run our own company. It was more than just a dream to us. It was a promise. When we got older, we actually made it happen. After years of working dead-end jobs and saving every penny, we launched a business together. It started small, just the two of us, grinding day and night to keep it afloat. Sometimes we barely had enough to cover rent, but we kept pushing forward. Slowly, we started gaining traction. The business grew, and for the first time in our lives, it felt like everything was falling into place. Then, without any warning, my brother betrayed me. One morning, I showed up to the office like usual, but my key card didn't work. At first, I thought it was a mistake, maybe a technical issue. So I called my brother to let him know. He didn't answer. I tried again, still nothing. Confused, I checked my email and saw the legal notice. My name had been completely erased from the company. Somehow he had found a way to push me out. I felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. Everything I had worked for, every late night and sacrifice was gone. My own brother had stolen it from me. I tried to fight back legally. I had no ground to stand on. I had trusted him to handle the paperwork because I never thought he would do something like this. To me, that was my biggest mistake. What hurt even more was that my family took his side. They told me to let it go and move on as if it was just some petty disagreement. They acted like I was being dramatic, like I hadn't just lost years of my life to something he ripped away from me. That was the moment I knew I couldn't just walk away. If he was going to take everything from me, I was going to make sure he lost it all too. I spent the next few months watching and waiting. My brother had always been ambitious, but he was careless. He cut corners, made reckless decisions, and had an ego that made him think he was untouchable. I knew his weaknesses better than anyone, so I started setting him up for his own downfall. First, I ensured the IRS looked closely at his finances. I sent in a few anonymous tips pointing them towards some of his more questionable business practices. I knew he had been skimming money and fudging numbers to make the company look more profitable than it was. The investigation alone was enough to make his investors nervous. Next, I contacted a few of our competitors, giving them just enough inside information to let them undercut his deals. He had always been ruthless in business, never thinking twice about burning bridges, so it wasn't hard to find people happy to help take him down. Within a few months, his biggest client started pulling out. The final blow came when he tried to launch a new product line. He had rushed production to save money, cutting every corner he could. I knew it would be a disaster, so I ensured the right people got their hands on some early samples. When the launch day came, the reviews were brutal, customers were furious, and word spread fast. Lawsuits followed, and within weeks, his company was in free fall. He tried to recover, scrambling to fix his mistakes, but it was too late. The IRS penalties, the lost clients, and the failed product launch had bled him dry. His investors backed out, leaving him with no choice but to declare bankruptcy. The company we built together was gone, but this time he had no one to blame but himself. The most satisfying part was seeing the look on my family's faces. When they finally realized the truth, they defended him, told me I was overreacting, and acted like I was causing problems. Now they had nothing to say. My brother had ruined himself, and they had to sit back and watch it happen. I never got my company back, but I walked away knowing he didn't get to keep it either. That was enough for me.